That is to say that Joseph recognized that God's presence in his situation was able to draw positive purpose out of his brother's evil plot. And beloved, you need to know today that God can take the same thing that the enemy tried to use to harm you, and God can use it to help you. Look at what Joseph says. He says, but God. Now you aficionados of the King's English will recognize the but that Joseph uses as a coordinating conjunction. I'll take y'all to school for a minute. In the English language, you have 7 types of conjunctions. The conjunction for explains a reason. The conjunction and adds one thing to another. The conjunction nor shows an alternate circumstance. The conjunction or presents a choice. The conjunction yet introduces a logical idea. The conjunction so indicates a result or a consequence. However, the coordinating conjunction but shows contrast. And is there anybody here that can look back over the winding vicissitudes of your life? You can take a trip down memory lane, and every time you turned around, you can't help but thank God for some divine interventions. Times when God showed up and showed you the contrast of how good it turned out versus how bad it really could have been. Somebody ought to just say, but God. Oh, man. I love the story that's told of the violinist Paganini, who during a performance broke all the strings on his violin but one. Then holding up his violin to the crowd, he said, ladies and gentlemen, one string and Paganini. And all I'm trying to tell somebody is that when you realize that God is all that you have, then you really find out that God is all that you need. Ladies and gentlemen, one string and Pastor Brock. Oh man, you ought to just call somebody, send them a text message, tweet, and tell them you almost took me out. But it's one string left. Hey. It's one string left. And as long as I got one string, I can keep on playing. But God. Hey. Joseph said, I should have been killed by my brothers, but God. I should have died in a pit, but God. I should have died in slavery, but God. I should have been still in jail on trumped up rape charges, but God. And I dare you to grab your neighbor by the hand and tell him again, you don't know my story, and I don't know your story, but you look real good right now. So I'm going to tell you your testimony, but God. I never should have made it, but God. I never could have made it, but God. I don't know how I'm going to make it, but God. My marriage is on the rocks, but God. Unemployed, but God. I need God to put some elastic on my check and make it stretch from the 1st to the 15th. I don't know how it's going to happen, but God. I was sinking deep in sin, far from the peaceful shore, very deeply, stayed within, sinking to rise no more. But God! Hey! You see, my faith can believe something that my rationale don't make no sense. It don't make no sense for you to still be sitting here when you got a little piece of mind left. But God, it don't make no sense with all the medication you on to still be alive. But God, it don't make no sense for you to be married again with the way you treated your last spouse. But God, y'all, I'm trying to leave it alone. But there's somebody in here with a but God testimony. And God is waiting on you to admit that you can't do it without him. It's not because you've been so good. It's not because you've been so wonderful. It's not because you got a degree. It's not because you're an E9 or 06. But God.